Hello there. So I was driving back from picking up my spring water this morning and I noticed everywhere I went elder trees in flower. Now this is very early for England. You wouldn't expect them to be ready until another 3 or 4 weeks time, but nonetheless that's a story. So the elder tree is a tree of the Celtic tree oracle, and the key word for elder is change. So what I've done is I stopped off and I picked enough flower heads to fit into that bowl. Depending on the size of the flower heads, somewhere between about 13 and 18 flower heads. That's not much, takes you like a moment to pick that lot. So this is one of the easiest drinks you can make. It's a very traditional English drink and it's only got 3 ingredients: elderflowers, water and honey. You can use sugar if you prefer, and I prefer to use raw honey. So here we go with the making. So the first thing I need is one of these plastic tubs. So handy. Luckily my baker burns the bread, gives them away. So I fill this up with spring water. Right, I'm not going to be sitting there watching for ages while I do things like that, so I'll finish that in good time. So the next thing I want to do is I want to add the honey to the water. So I will actually get the entire contents of this jar. It's a pound, a kilo to you guys, sorry, half a kilo, 500 grams. So what I'll do, I'll dissolve all the honey into the 5 litres of water. Then what I do is I add the elderflowers. Now the magic is these elderflowers contain live yeasts. So it's best when you're making elderflower champagne to use either spring water or filtered water. If you use water straight from the tap, the chlorine in the tap water will tend to kill off the yeast, or at least it will try to. It probably won't be totally successful. And the other thing about using raw honey, all the live enzymes and other wonderful living qualities in this honey is going to be added too. And that's literally what I do. 5 litres of the water, a pound or 500 grams of honey, and roughly between 13 and 18 flower heads of elderflowers. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it somewhere to ferment for a few days. It's a good idea to cover it. You can cover it with a piece of muslin like that, which you can tie around with a big rubber band or some elastic. If you don't have access to something like that, you can cover it with a lid, but you don't want to put it on tight. So what you're going to do, you're going to leave it for a few days. And what will happen quite quickly is that the yeasts inside the elderflowers will start fermenting the honey and starting to turn some of it into alcohol. It's a really good idea to take your lid off once a day and give it a good stir, because by giving a good stir, that will cause the fermentation process to accelerate and go better. So you keep an eye on it, check it every day, and after 3 to 4 days, depending on how warm it is in your home, then you'll start to notice fermentation begins to die down. When it begins to die down, that's your cue. Now the easiest thing is to get hold of either a 5 litre container or a bunch of small ones. Plastic is more easy to handle because you don't have to worry about the glass bottle exploding. If you use a glass bottle, it will explode unless you've got a special high pressure release valve fitted. I don't have such things, so I'm using a plastic bottle. So what I'll do is I'll literally, the best way to do it is to filter it using a tube and to leave the yeasty stuff in the bottom. It's called the lees, all the solid remains, leave it in the bottom and just siphon out the liquid, and siphon of a tube, and you put the tube into the container and you suck until the tube is full of liquid, pinch it shut, and you have this lower than the tub, and as soon as the liquid starts to flow in your sorted, and you keep watching and you take it out before the gunk at the bottom starts to get sucked up. Then you put the lid on, and you can leave it ideally for at least a week, and you can leave it for up to a few months if you want to. And it makes a most delicious drink, and it's a really nice thing to serve if you've got a bunch of people and you're meeting and you want to have something different. And it's a very seasonal thing to have, so you're really getting in tune with the end of spring and the beginning of summer by drinking elderflower champagne. So that's it. All the love to you.